Yeah, Charles, this race?
Well, the empirical evidence right now, all the polls obviously are pointing towards Republican success here. Secondly, the anecdotal evidence, the lawn signs, the bumper stickers, the enthusiasm of the crowds, that there's a huge difference in intensity. However, it is Massachusetts. It is a state that this Kennedy seat has been in the family since 1952. And also remember, in the one national race in November, New York 23, there was a conservative who came out of nowhere who was ahead by, in the polls, up by 5 on election day, Doug Hoffman, and he lost by 4 in the actual election. So the reason is it's extremely hard to model with a computer the turnout in a special election, particularly an off-year election, and particularly one as scrambled and crazy as this one, in which a president arrives 2 days before, and in which it's basically the president of the United States up against Kurt Schilling, hope and change against the bloody sock. Hard to predict. But no matter how bad a candidate she is, her Republican opponent would never have gotten a leg up. He would never have appeared. He never would have surfaced had he not nationalized this election and said, you send me to Washington, I will stop health care. He made it a referendum on the Obama agenda and also on single-party rule in Washington. And he said, this is a way that you can register opposition in the bluest of the blue states. If Massachusetts, whether it elects him or whether it's a close election, either way, sends a message that of a rejection of this agenda and of unified democratic rule, it will be devastating.
What about that? Even though this is very close, if Martha Coakley pulls it out, we're going to talk all about the health care possibilities in the next panel. But is this a referendum on health care reform, this race?
Even a likable guy is not going to engender enthusiasm of this remarkable sort unless he's got an electric message. And his message was, I'm going to stop this machine in Washington single-handedly in this January election. And that's what's caused this tsunami.
Okay. Charles, do you think if Scott Brown wins that the White House does an about-face and tacks towards the center and tries to rework this thing before, let's even say, the State of the Union on January 27th?
Oh, if he wins, health care is dead. They're going to have to start from scratch if they want to, which would mean bringing in Republicans, rewriting it. Tort reform would be completely different. If Brown wins tomorrow, the bill as we see it is dead. The only hope is if the House swallows the Senate bill whole, which I think is not going to happen. The only alternative is to delay the swearing in of the Republican in the Senate, and that would be catastrophic for the Democrats. There's already a question of legitimacy hanging over the bill, A, because it would be the largest change in our social structure, a sixth of the economy, purely on a partisan vote. Secondly, because you have huge resistance in public opinion, a spread of at least 10 points against it repeatedly and consistently. Lastly, because already people have watched all the corrupt swaps, bargains, and deals behind the scenes. You add onto that the illegitimacy of having it pass with a vote by the Democrat from Massachusetts, whose term essentially has expired and whose mandate has been revoked and repudiated on Election Day, leave him in office a couple of extra days. It would be so illegitimate that I suspect even if the principled liberals, perhaps Joe Lieberman or some others, would object on the basis of the process, even if they accept the substance of the bill.